Once we're self-aware of the old story, once we're self-aware of the things that we're saying to ourselves, they become conscious rather than unconscious. About 80% of our actions are habitual. For the majority of life, like humans really just go through the motions if we don't break out of our unconsciousness, right? And so once we're aware of the story, now we can work off of it. And the reason why that's so important, because all these things that we all say, right? Like, I'm too short. Yeah, that's me. No legs and one arm. I'm definitely too short, right? Most people say it's easy to fail. I'm not creative enough. All these things. The reason why this is powerful, because every time that you speak it out loud, every time you're like, I'm not good enough, and you speak it out loud, you reaffirm that belief. Do we see that? You reaffirm it into your nervous system that you're not good enough, that you're not strong enough, that you didn't have the right environment. That's why language is so powerful, right? And so what we're going to do now is I'm going to ask you another question, and that's the simple question of, when you get out of your head and into your heart, what's the truth about you? Who are you really? Are you kind? Are you compassionate? Are you a good student? Does your youth give you energy? You see how I'm ranting like that? What's the truth? Because the truth will set you free. But it's when we come from our heart rather than our head. And that's something, like, my friends, like, if you want to go deeper on that, like, it may be an uncomfortable environment because there's a bunch of people on here. If you want to go deeper on that and just sit on your own and say, what's my current story? What do I constantly tell myself? And then you can even add in the question, what is it going to cost me if I don't change my story? Is it going to cost me relationships, health, finances, fulfillment, abundance, joy? What is it going to cost me if I continue this negative dialogue? Because humans either change from pain or pleasure. And usually it's pain, unfortunately, right? Has anyone ever hit a threshold in their life with so much pain that they said, that's it, I'm done? Mm-hmm. Anyone? That's it, I'm done, no more. It's because of pain. So if you want to go to hey, I don't want to put you to the pain, but if you want to go to the pain, there's the question. What is it going to cost you if you continue that negative story? And so, Diego, I just wanted to run through that little exercise. If we want to do questions and answers, I'm down for anything. But I think I thought it was going to be powerful. So if you guys enjoyed that, give me something so I know that you enjoyed it. Awesome.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Let us know here, guys, in the comments if you guys do have any particular questions, or we can have Nick share some stories. Felipe, do you have?
Yeah, I got a question for Nick. Nick, if you don't mind. Hey, dude, what's up, man? My name is Felipe. Diego's partner in crime when it comes to the mastermind and business together, man. Out of curiosity, you asked the mastermind, pain or pleasure. What changed your mind? Was it pain or pleasure?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it was pain, but I think there was a certain epiphany moment when I realized that, like, my body wasn't my biggest curse. That was more pleasure. And that story was, I wrestled in high school. So I actually amputated 5 inches of this arm off to become a wrestler in my high school, because I wanted to do something that was going to instill confidence in me, self-worth in me. And unfortunately, this arm was about 5 inches longer than it is now. And my bone was growing faster than my skin. So it was like your finger, but it was super sensitive. And the bottom line is, if I would have hit my arm hard enough, my bone would have came through my skin.
Oh.
And so I brought forth the solution to amputate my arm so I could wrestle. And so my senior year, I was the 106-pound varsity wrestler for my high school. And I wasn't very good. I was 2-17, and I got my butt kicked this one match, and I came off the mat, and I'm trying to catch my breath, and this lady came up to me crying. And I'm like, oh, God, what did I do wrong? And she said, Nick, I want to thank you. And I said, for what? And she said, well, my daughter's on the sideline, and she never wanted to do a sport or an extracurricular activity, but seeing you out there, she wants to try new things. Thanks for – I didn't even know what I did. And the reason why I share that, not about me, I wasn't even trying to be an inspirational person or motivate people. I was trying to dig myself out of a hole. And what I realized in that moment is, one, I liked helping people. It gave me this little fuzzy feeling inside called fulfillment that all humans seek. And the second thing I realized was that maybe my body wasn't a negative. Maybe it was my greatest gift to connect with people on a deeper level.
I like that.
That was the moment for me.
Man, thanks for being vulnerable. There's a couple of questions in the chat if you want to answer them, or I can ask them to you, whatever.
Yeah. What books have been essential in your self-development?
Okay, so actually, I just started a new book. It's like how to. I don't, correct me if it's wrong, but How to Recreate Your Brain by Joseph Dispenza. If you type in Dr. Joseph Dispenza, he's an amazing, he's a brain guy, is a master at the brain and knows how it works way better than I do. He's a stud. So Joseph Dispenza. And then actually my first personal development books were actually the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone and Be Obsessed or Be Average. That was actually my first taste of personal development. And then, the Bible of Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich is like a quarterly read or maybe a yearly read, however comfortable you are. So those would be like my top books, but I just started that Joseph Dispenza one.
Cool. There's one question here. How can you push for someone that does not have any goals in life?
Yeah. So
that's a good one.
So the first thing is the moment that someone feels, and I'm not saying this particular person done that. I'm just saying this in general. The moment someone feels judged, you immediately close the door for transformation or influence, right? So if you can, like, as humans, right? Say someone was trying to give you advice, but you feel that they were judging your current situation. Would you take advice from them? No, because the moment people feel judged, we kind of get closed off. And so the first thing is to kind of just like love people for where they're at. It's going to be tough because you can see them doing all these amazing things, but you love people for where they're at. And then lead by example. Because like if you're trying to influence someone and not doing it, the only thing that you could do is try to rub off while you're lead by example, being in proximity of them and doing, positive, motivating, personal development things, and hope that it rubs off. But the bottom line is that you can't change someone that doesn't want to change. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's the toughest part. Yes or no? See it?
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
What sometimes Ryan has, sometimes when I experience failure, I succumb to reoccurring failing thoughts from the past. What specific mental process do you recommend to overcome this?
It's a great question. And it basically comes down to your relationship with failure. Now, from an early age, like my biggest superpower was my parents treated me normal. I got beat up by my siblings. My parents put my clothes in front of me and said, Nick, figure it out. Here's your food, figure it out. And by doing that, they got me really comfortable with uncomfortable situations. And also I became very solution oriented at an early age, focusing on the solution rather than the problem. And so by me, like everything was hard for me. And so from an early age, I realized that failure wasn't a foe and it was a friend. And basically failure is my classroom. It's where I'm going to learn. And it's the only place I'm going to learn, right? Because just ask yourself, do we learn more from our wins or from our losses?
All day, your losses.
Yeah. Our losses. And so like, I hope my girlfriend doesn't know that I'm cuddling with failure on the weekends and watching Netflix with failure, right? And because I know failure, on the other side of failure, massive personal growth is going to be taking place. And so I think it's just evaluating your relationship with failure and realizing that failure is actually like a stripe. You're getting like a stripe, because the bottom line is people out here, the majority of the world aren't going to take chances on their dreams or their goals and their ambitions. And so the bottom line is that you're pursuing it. And that's the most important thing, because would we rather be on the sideline or in the field? I'm trying to be in the field.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
Good answer.
There was one question here. You mentioned 80% of our actions are habitual. What are some habits that are crucial in positive self-development or daily habits in general?
Yeah. So basically this is massive because the biggest pattern I've seen is people like me included is struggling with self-worth. And that self-worth can translate in I'm not worthy of success. I'm not worthy of that perfect relationship. I'm not worthy of happiness. I'm not worthy of the weight loss. Has anyone ever been there? We've all been there. I don't feel worthy of something. And so I have non-negotiables. And basically these are things that despite what's going on in my day, these things get done because it makes me feel like I progressed, and progress equals happiness, right? We all love the feeling of progression. And so non-negotiables basically translate into self-worth, because like confidence, which is the one thing that I was looking for, which I think is like self-worth, basically comes from you holding the promises you have within yourself. And so this is a great example. Say you were making plans with your friend to go out to eat and you were like, be there at 6 p.m. and you went up to the restaurant and he never showed up. Right? He broke the promise. Well, say he did that 3 times. How many times is it going to take him breaking the promise for you to realize that's an unreliable friend? Mm-hmm. And so that's the same relationship we have within ourselves. And so I myself included, Diego, Felipe, all of us, we're all guilty of saying we're going to do something and not following through in it. But what we don't realize is that diminishes our self-worth. it diminishes our word, our self-integrity, and it actually diminishes the relationship we have within ourselves. And so if we want to create momentum in our life, let's just create some non-negotiables that we can hold ourselves accountable to each and every day that makes us feel like we progress to create momentum. And so some of them for me is, like I said, I'm drinking this is a 40-ounce water bottle, so I have to drink 3 of these, equals my gallon a day. So it's my gallon of water, stillness in the morning. So like I said, when you, instead of like waking up and looking at your phone immediately, why don't you give yourself the gift of being a human and sit in stillness for 10 to 20 minutes? Have that quietness to yourself. Set your mind up for the day, because it's going to get hectic. Who's up for giving stillness to themselves in the morning, right? They're like, hallelujah. Right? You don't need permission for that, my friends. You don't need permission for that. And so it's my gallon of water, my stillness, and then 45-minute workout. For those that don't follow me, like, I'm also known in the bodybuilding world. I've competed in bodybuilding. I know that sounds crazy. A man with no legs is a bodybuilder, I know. Clearly I don't lift legs, so don't ask me. I don't lift legs that day. But yeah, so basically this all translates into self-worth. And so I have non-negotiables that I hold myself to. And every time I break them, I feel it. I feel that I let myself down. So the most important relationship that we should be working on is who?
So.